What's up, bitty man? It's the Bronco at the front coming at you with another reaction video. 10 Cataclysm. What in the hell is a cataclysm? Let me look this up real quick. Cataclysm is a large-scale and violent event in the natural world. Okay, that makes sense. 10 violent, large-scale, what is it? A large-scale and violent event in the natural world. 10 large-scale and violent events in the natural world that could end humanity. Let me go ahead and guess. We got volcano, we got meteors, we got, I don't think no tsunami. Well, it could. The biggest like tsunami of all time, a tsunami could end humanity. Tornado is not big enough to end it. Like a flood. I guess tsunami is a flood. So I can only think of 3. If it's talking about like natural disaster type shit, a big ass wildfire. Yeah, I can only think of 4. Let's see what go down.
Massive that it shook the. What would happen if every super volcano on the planet erupted at once? What about an earthquake so massive that it shook the world for 30 long minutes? What if another planet suddenly decided to give ours a world-ending kiss?
Bro, imagine sitting there and looking outside and seeing this big-ass planet get closer and closer and closer, knowing that you're finna die. The sun is like this big. That big-ass planet gonna be like this big in the sky. Just getting closer and closer like, bro, we all are about to die. There is nothing that we can do about it.
Decided to give ours a world-ending kiss. And could a pandemic far worse than COVID-19 spell extinction for the human race?
I ain't gonna lie. COVID turned me into a believer. I never would have thought that something like a pandemic could happen in our modern world. And it happened with COVID-19. And it's only a matter of time. I'm not putting it into the universe or nothing like that. Let me knock on wood. But I'm just saying, the fact that something like COVID can happen, like what was that, the Black Plague? Like, you know, the Black Plague back in the day? It could be something that's actually more deadly that come out here in the near future. I ain't saying in our lifetime, but maybe in our children's lifetime, grandchildren's lifetime. You never know.
Race? Join us as we take a look at 10 natural
Underworld,
disasters that could end life on Earth as we know it.
Number 10.
The largest volcanic eruption in recorded human history is the 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia. While the blast claimed 92,000 lives.
Whoa! 92,000! Golly, that's a whole generation. That's about as many people died at Hiroshima. I thought he was finna probably be like 1,000, 2,000, maybe like 900. 93,000?
Tambora itself is a molehill compared to the smallest supervolcano on Earth. But what separates a normal volcano from a supervolcano? According to the U.S. Geological Survey, a supervolcano is any volcanic center that's had an eruption magnitude of 8 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index. For the record, 8 is as high as you can go.
They had to. How did they die? Like, bro, did they choke to death like off the ash, or did they get burnt alive by the lava? Cause it's like, bro, if a volcano erupt, can you not see that shit in the distance? Like, that's and then get to running away from the damn magma, unless the magma is like super duper fast and it just keeps going on and on and on and on. It was 1815. I don't think they had cars yet, so they probably only had horses. A lot of people ain't had horses to get away. So, but 92,000?
Oh, and is literally described as apocalyptic by the National Park Service. The scary part? There are 12 of these time bombs scattered across the world. So, what would happen if one of them went off? Even worse, what would happen if all of them went off?
Bro, end of the world. But y'all remember that nuke video? Evil motherfucker was like, whoa, what if we nuke a super volcano so we can destroy the United States? Bro, people are so evil, bro. The fact that you would even think of some shit like that just pisses me off. I hate humans.
Well, let's just say, hypothetically, Yellowstone National Park decides to blow its lid. According to the USGS, the entire world would feel its cataclysmic effects. Ash would fall over the immediate area for years, even decades, which would cause radical changes in the global climate. Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming would be buried in volcanic ash, while the rest of the US wore a thick coating. Thankfully, a Yellowstone eruption wouldn't end the human race.
Ooh.
At least, that's what the USGS wants us to think. But what if all the supervolcanoes decided to blow?
Oh yeah, it's over
Since
with.
there's a supervolcano on every continent, even Antarctica, you'll never find a place to hide. You will have decent warning though, since the ground will tremble with earthquakes about a month before it happens. Then, billions of tons of ash and magma would spew into the air simultaneously. Assuming you survive the initial blasts, you'd have to deal with apocalyptic fallout for, well, the rest of forever.
Yeah, it's scary. You already know the elites and like the president and stuff like that, they probably got a spaceship ready just in case for that to go ahead and fly at that bitch. And well, they ain't got nowhere to go unless they over there on Mars already building their little human colony or something. Unless they go to the moon and they already got them a little colony up there that we don't know about. Maybe that's why we ain't been back. They don't want people to find out that they done put a colony up there on the moon. Or like a little hideout space to support human life and all that. Hey, you never know.
The year was 1980. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Luis Alvarez and his geologist son Walter discovered a centimeter-thick layer of iridium-enriched clay in Italy, right along the KT boundary. Now, if you don't know, the KT boundary is a geological layer of rock that scientists use to mark the extinction of dinosaurs.
That's where they think
According to the History Channel, iridium is rare on Earth, but abundant in space. This could only mean one thing.
That's the meteor
a
that
massive
killed the
asteroid
dinosaurs.
struck Earth and wiped out all the dinosaurs. So, could we survive another? Scientists say something between 7 and 8 miles wide would bring about the apocalypse. Once it struck, it would create a dust plume that enveloped the entire planet.
And if you think about it, well, 7 to 8 miles wide, that is pretty goddamn long. Hell, that is very long. That is very big. But it's not, but compared to the Earth, that's not really that big. Like, if you look at 7 to 8 miles from, like, space, this shit is, like, this big. Like from one point A to point B, it ain't gonna be that long. So a rock that's about this big in comparison to the Earth, crashing into the Earth could bring about the apocalypse for real.
Knock out the sun and spike temperatures around the impact site. Only a select few would survive to carry on the human race. For the record, the Chicxulub event, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, was between 6 and 9 miles wide. According to NASA, it would take something 60 miles wide, or about the gap between Boston and Providence, Rhode Island, to completely wipe out life on Earth. So, how close have we come? Let's ask the Planetary Society. In 1908, a 30-meter asteroid exploded over Siberia, knocking down 80 million trees over 830 square miles. It was 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Another close call happened elsewhere in Russia in 2013 when a 20-meter asteroid blew up with the force of 500 kilotons of TNT. The shockwave injured 1,500 people and damaged some 7,200 buildings. Thankfully, NASA tracks anything over half a mile wide. They don't believe any of these asteroids have a significant chance of hitting Earth anytime soon.
Good, bro. Because you know how easy that could just happen? If an asteroid be like, whoop, I'm finna go here in this orbit. Or if an asteroid get accidentally sucked into the Earth's atmosphere, that could easily be wraps and nothing we can do about it. I know they've been developing. I heard that they was developing like technology toward if an asteroid is coming towards Earth that we can nuke it in space. Or something like that. We still would have to deal with the pieces of the asteroid falling towards Earth, but at least we'll have like a warning or something. But nuking the asteroid in space, that sounds like a good idea. I don't know in terms of nuclear fallout, would it reach the Earth's atmosphere? I don't know. Maybe if it's deep enough in space, we don't have to worry about it. But you know, it's a cause and effect for everything. Number 8.
On July 10th of 1958, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck on the Fairweather Fault in Alaska. The quake caused 30.6 million cubic meters of rock to slide into Lituya Bay, leading to a 1,700-foot tsunami wave, the largest ever recorded in human history. But could a massive tsunami wave end life as we know it? Well, the wave...
So why I ain't never heard of that Alaska tsunami? Well, I guess it happened where nobody lived, because a lot of people, Alaska only has a certain amount of habitable areas. The only tsunami I heard about was the Japanese tsunami, of course, and the one I think that was in Indonesia in 2004. I remember when I was a kid and I first found out about tsunamis, I was literally on the tsunami web hole on YouTube, watching the people recording the shit as the water was hitting the beach and all of that, and seeing all the people panicking. It was sad, but I was just so intrigued with like tsunamis. Like, that shit is scary. I'm really intrigued with all natural disasters. Like here in Texas, we be getting hit with tornadoes. I used to watch tornado videos. Them hoes is scary as hell, bro.
Wave wouldn't destroy everything, but the flooding, combined with whatever caused the wave, would probably do the trick. Consider the Younger Dryas impact theory. In a nutshell, Earth began shifting from a cold glacial state to a warmer climate about 14,500 years ago.
Okay.
During the transition, something caused temperatures to revert back to near glacial conditions. This period is called the Younger Dryas. It abruptly ended 11,500 years ago, and we're not totally sure why. Some believe an asteroid or fragments of an asteroid
that's the only one that makes
smashed into
sense.
Earth, causing a rapid rise in temperature. The space rock would likely have smashed into large glaciers around the world, and more specifically in North America.
Well, no, that don't make sense. I'm saying it makes sense for the reason it went to an Arctic period was like an asteroid hit, and then like all the ash fallout rose up, and it caused the Earth to like block the sun out, and then it caused like the ice age. But in terms of like what caused it to melt, who knows? It wasn't no global warming back then. Well, obviously it had to be some type of global warming, but something had to cause them to go to go out of the ice age. But the scary part is history repeats itself, like they say. So the Earth could be back at the ice age stage sometimes in the future.
This sudden burst of energy would have blown the glaciers apart, melting unthinkable amounts of ice in a moment's notice, and ultimately would have triggered a mega tsunami unlike anything we've seen before. If you're a Joe Rogan fan, you've probably heard Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock talking about it. Many in the scientific community either rebuke or agree with their claims. But regarding pure mega tsunamis, the most popular theory is the Cumbre Vieja mega tsunami. Scientists believe a powerful eruption at the La Palma volcano in the Canary Islands, an archipelago off the northwest coast of Africa, would be enough to break it in half. As a result, 500 cubic kilometers of rock would plummet into the Pacific Ocean at 220 miles per hour. It would trigger a mega tsunami up to 300 feet tall that would literally race across the ocean, smashing into North America, South America, Western Europe, and the African coast. Still, it would not wipe out the human race.
Tsunamis are scary as hell, bro. Number 7.
Plenty of cosmic catastrophes could
Gamma
end
rays?
life as we know it, but gamma rays
sun.
are a special kind of scary.
Like if the sun
Gamma
blow up?
and X-rays are similar in that both can penetrate your body. You need several feet of concrete or a few inches of lead to stop them. Gamma rays make up most of the fallout from nuclear explosions and are the most immediate hazard to life. If you stand next to an object producing gamma rays, you'll get fried like an egg. Gamma ray bursts are massive explosions in far-off galaxies that send gamma rays cascading into the abyss. These bursts are among the most powerful events in the known universe.
So the sun, I could have sworn the sun, don't the sun with his little solar flares, those not bursting gamma rays too? And then hypothetically, I heard that as time goes on, the sun is getting bigger and bigger, until it blow up. And when the sun gets bigger and bigger, the gamma ray, the sunbursts, solar burst explosions get longer and longer. And them gamma rays is getting closer and closer to Earth.
They release the same amount of energy as a supernova or a collapsing star, but in a fraction of the time. Supernovas take weeks to occur. Gamma ray bursts happen in literal seconds. Astronomers believe they occur when two highly magnetized objects collide, like if a neutron star crashes into a black hole. On average, our scientists detect about one gamma ray burst every day, and those are only the ones we see. Thankfully, they don't believe the radiation could affect Earth.
Bro.
It would have to happen right next door.
The concept of space is just so goddamn grand to my mind that it's like, every time I heard some space shit, I'd be like, what the fuck, man? All of that is really out there. In the whole conversation of, Is there life on other planets with aliens? I used to believe in aliens, but now I'm to the point to where it's so many planets out there, or allegedly so many planets out there, and all of this is out there. You telling me we ain't ran across not one life form out there yet? As long as we've been on this earth, or as long as we have the technology to, or another life form ain't found us yet. So you telling me space is just really filled with all of these dormant ass planets, and we just happen to be like the only motherfuckers? Like, it just, it don't make sense. Or if we do find another life form, okay, we found one life form out of a gazillion other planets, so we the only two motherfuckers that's really, it just make more sense for me. It don't even make sense that we the only one. That's why I say thinking about space, bro, make my head hurt, man. Make my head want to blow up.
Cosmically speaking, if one occurred in the Milky Way and the beams focused on Earth, the radiation would wipe out the ozone layer. We would lose our protection from the sun, and lethal radiation poison would cause mass extinctions across the planet. So, while the chances are extremely rare, it still only takes one.
It's scary. Number 6, earthquake.
According to the USGS, the strongest recorded earthquake in human history was a 9.6 magnitude quake in Biobío, Chile in 1960. It likely occurred along the Liquiñe-Ofqui Fault, a 750-mile fault line that stretches north to south in Chile.
And I hate that it was like in modern history too. I love to hear that if they say like the strongest earthquake in history was like maybe like over there in prehistoric times or something, that they, I don't know how they figured it out, but they can figure out like what happened back in the day. But when they say 1960, when people was like living here and stuff, I just feel bad for them.
Now, we don't have very accurate numbers regarding the impact. Estimates put the fatalities between 1,000 and 6,000, and damage between $400 million and $800 million, or between $4 and $8 billion today. The Biobío quake happened, and it didn't end the world. So, what kind of catastrophic geological event could?
How do you even die from an earthquake? Aside from, unless you buy a building and like a building fall on you, I feel like falling debris is the only way you could die from an earthquake. You can't die by the ground violently shaking. Like, just lay on the ground or go out to the street and lay on the street or something. I guess like you could get motion sick or something. I don't know.
According to the USGS, a 10.0 magnitude megaquake is impossible. Yeah. Magnitudes are related to the length of the fault line on which the quake occurs.
In a fault line.
Simply put, the longer the fault, the larger the quake. There isn't a fault long enough that we know of to trigger a 10.0 earthquake. If there was, it would nearly wrap around the entire planet. If there was such a fault line, you could expect...
I see how you could die with that shit. If it looked like this in real life, I see how you can lose your life.
The earthquake to be as powerful as a 9.0. However, it would last significantly longer, upwards of 30 minutes, according to BBC Science. On average, earthquakes only last between 10 and 30 seconds. So, imagine the ground shaking for a full half hour.
So you telling me that Japanese earthquake that triggered that big-ass tsunami back like in 2012, that earthquake only lasted for 30 seconds and it caused all of that damage? If I feel an earthquake and I'm in Japan, bro, I'm immediately, like, getting away from the coast. Or if I'm from a coastal area, I'm hopping in the car and driving as far west as I can.
World-ending events would likely occur due to a domino effect of volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, and nuclear meltdowns.
5. Population, overpopulated.
Between 10,000...
But I ain't gonna lie, I honestly heard that the Earth is slowing down in terms of population. I know the United States is for sure. People not having babies like they used to. But I seen something on Twitter. People was talking about they was worried about the Earth for underpopulation and so. I say underpopulation. What the hell people be talking about? This whole time, all I've been hearing is about overpopulation from these countries like goddamn India and China. I heard that they was, I ain't gonna say they was stagnating, but they put that birth rate restriction. They can only have one child in China. I heard that they birth rate kind of like stalling too, or they losing a generation of females because they want males. They want more males because, in that society, males is more stouted. Everybody want a son. I don't know, bro. I heard this on Joe Rogan podcast. I'm just regurgitating what I heard. I forgot what somebody was talking about it, goddammit.
BCE and 1700 CE, the global population only grew about 0.04% annually. Then, at the turn of the 19th century, the population exploded. In 1801, the world had about 1 billion people. In November of 2022, it officially eclipsed 8 billion.
Yeah,
Today's population accounts for 6.5% of all humans to ever exist, about 108 billion people. But what would happen if a chunk of those people suddenly disappeared?
Oh.
What if Thanos came down, snapped his fingers, and half of us just vanished?
Man, what in the hell is he talking about right now?
Snapped his fingers, and half of us just vanished. Well, first, we'd probably experience widespread shortages in basically everything. Food, electricity, water, emergency services, medical staff, all of those people we subconsciously rely on would be gone instantly. Chaos would ensue, and we'd give it about a week before we're at each other's throats. But since that can't happen, what if the population steadily but rapidly declined over the next few decades?
Oh, and remember, I was just saying this, what they were saying on Twitter. So it is a real thing of declining population.
And we've all seen Elon Musk tweet about it. According to the man himself, a collapsing birth rate is the biggest danger civilization faces by far.
Why?
Can we speak to the accuracy of that statement? Not really. But is there some hypothetical truth to it? According to the World Economic Forum, global fertility rates have decreased by 50% over the past 70 years. Low birth rates, combined with longer life expectancies, effectively create an older population. In turn, an older population puts more strain on healthcare systems. You'd also have more people retiring than entering the workforce, aka more people claiming Social Security than paying into it. This could eventually lead to a complete economic collapse.
I was just finna say, bro, it has to be an economic thing, and it's crazy how like every cause have an effect. You would think that a lower birth rate will have a great cause versus a higher. Well, first off, the birth rate is lowering because the more people are educated, the less kids they have. Basically, like back in the day, they was just fucking and fucking and fucking, but now people are more educated and adverse to having kids. And with society now having kids in this expensive ass society. And now more old people means more Social Security. More Social Security means more chance of economic collapse. More people acting damn crazy over that money.
Economic collapse leads to anarchy. And anarchy leads to total destruction. Hypothetically. It is, like everything else in this video, just a theory. But it's a pretty damn scary one.
Nah, for real. Before collision.
Now, what would happen if another planet in our solar system fell out of orbit and began barreling towards Earth?
We go die.
Well, for starters, we'd all spend our final days, perhaps weeks, watching this distant object get closer and closer.
I said that at the beginning.
It'll look like it's inching across the sky, but it's really moving at about 24,600 miles per hour. Things will get worse when the planet passes the moon. The gravitational pull on our oceans would flood our coastal cities in seconds. About 30 hours before the collision, the gravitational force between both planets would expedite the process. Every natural disaster you can think of would happen at once. Hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, everything.
Bro, the Earth
in the
is so
nanoseconds
scary.
Before the crash, the intersecting atmosphere would get so hot that all life on Earth would be vaporized in a flash. The land would turn to molten rock, while the Earth's core melts the planet from within. Soon, Earth would collapse in on itself.
Hey, at least we would die like at the snap of a finger, like you say, of getting vaporized. If the natural disasters don't kill you, I'd rather get vaporized than by natural disaster. Because like I said, natural disasters are scary. Imagine seeing a big, thick-ass tornado coming towards you and you finna goddamn die. A big, thick-ass wall of a tsunami water. I'd rather get vaporized just like that. And I would not want to get crushed by that damn planet that I see that's getting closer and closer towards me.
Its remnants, and what remains of the other planet, would form an asteroid belt orbiting the sun. It's a long-standing belief in the scientific community that this has already happened. About 4.5 billion years ago, a rogue protoplanet named Theia struck Earth while it was just a baby. The debris from that collision collected and fused in the atmosphere, creating the moon we know and love today.
Dang. Come on, bro. Y'all believe that right there? I don't believe that shit. Number 3, Ice Age.
Climate change is on everyone's mind. But what would happen in the most extreme scenarios? What would happen if the Earth's average temperature suddenly spiked out of nowhere or suddenly cooled so much that we fell into another ice age? According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or the IPCC, an increase of just 1 degree Fahrenheit would mimic conditions we haven't seen in 6,000 years. The US would experience a drought worse than the Dust Bowl of the 1930s. And low-lying island nations could be underwater due to melting ice caps.
Ain't no could,
An increase of 5 degrees would spiral us into complete chaos. Most of the underground water reservoirs would dry up. Then, China would probably invade Russia.
What?
The United States marches on Canada.
What?
Both would be the only places left on Earth that can grow crops.
Oh.
Famine would slash the population down to about 1 billion people, with most of them gravitating toward the poles. It'd be like we were living 55 million years ago, when the oceans were acidic and CO2 levels exceeded 1,000 parts per million, which is a lot.
And there's really people out there who don't believe in climate change, bro. Y'all Republicans and stuff like that. It's a lot of people out there. I think Elon Musk said that he don't believe in climate change. Or Trump, obviously. But, like, what?
Flip side, another ice age would be just as bad. Once densely populated regions would be uninhabitable now that they're covered in thick ice sheets. According to ice sheet modeler Dr. Stephen Phipps, North America, Northern Europe, and the whole of Northern Asia would be covered in ice. Sea levels would fall drastically, nearly 400 feet, causing marine channels like the Bering Strait and the Mediterranean Sea to disappear.
400
this
feet is
would,
crazy.
however, create new land areas for people to inhabit. Whichever one you think is worse is totally up to you.
The heat. Ice Age, you could put on some damn clothes, man. And we got new ice forms to walk across, man. We could build cities on ice. God damn it, if the ice is that thick. Shit. Solar flares. I was talking about this earlier with the gamma stuff.
We owe our very existence to the sun. But if it wanted to, the sun could snuff us out in the blink of an eye. Aside from collapsing or Earth smashing right into it, how else could the sun destroy the planet? Solar flares might be one terrifying answer. They are intense bursts of electromagnetic radiation that explode from the sun's atmosphere. Solar flares can superheat loose material floating around them, causing giant blobs of plasma to slingshot toward Earth. Thankfully, our atmosphere filters this stuff out before it causes any harm. But they can still mess with radar systems.
Look how beautiful Earth is, man. Just when the planet Earth is not here no more, man, this is gonna be a sad time. Even though we not gonna be here, it's gonna be way, way, way past our generation. We probably would have blew each other up by now. But when the Earth just like reaches its peak and like the sun explodes and the whole solar system just goes away, bro, Earth had a great run, bro. A great fucking run, man. Just looking at this baby, what a tear up. Like, look how beautiful this planet is, man.
Satellites offline. According to Alex Young,
and nobody will know, like, if a life form happens to happen somewhere else, like in a million years, and they look at like the Earth, where the Earth used to be, or where this solar system used to be, it's just nothing but darkness or nothing but floating asteroids. They would never know that the Earth was once a great ass planet with humans and life forms with their own history and greatness, like sports and oh man.
Even in the largest solar flares that we've seen in the past 10,000 years, the effect is not enough to damage the atmosphere such that we are no longer protected. But what if it was? While the flare itself wouldn't destroy everything, it would likely create a chain reaction of catastrophic events.
Like always.
For starters, the electric grid would probably go down, disrupting communications, internet connections, and obviously access to electricity.
all of that goes down, the world over with. We as humans don't know how to function without electricity, without internet, without all of that. The only motherfuckers who gonna survive is the tribes that's already uncontacted and that's already living on their own and stuff. You know, the uncontacted tribes, probably like some tribes in Africa and stuff like that. They good. But everybody in the United States, oh yeah, we're finished, bro.
Chaos would inevitably ensue, which would likely lead to widespread panic.
Number 1, we got the plague. Yup.
COVID-19 wasn't fun for anybody,
It wasn't.
but it wasn't a world-ending natural pandemic. According to a quick Google search, COVID has claimed 6.7 million lives as of January of
That's a lot of
2023.
people.
So what does that compare to other historical pandemics, and what would it take to end the human race? According to National Geographic, plague outbreaks are the most notorious epidemics in human history. And yes, plague is a
That's
real
what I think about when I see the plague. I think about motherfuckers in these masks. I think these be the doctors or something like that.
disease. According to the CDC, it's a disease that affects humans and other mammals caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. You can catch plague through rodent or flea bites, or by handling infected animals.
Damn
So how
rats.
bad is plague? The plague of Justinian claimed 10,000 lives per day in 6th century Constantinople.
Oh.
Historians believe 100 million people, or about half of Europe's population, perished before it subsided in the 700s.
Shit.
Meanwhile, the Black Death claimed 25 million lives across 14th century Asia and Europe, eventually leading to the Great Plague of London between 1665 and
I heard that was because motherfuckers was just dirty as hell back in the day in 1600 London. Because of these plagues and lack of hygiene and stuff.
1666. According to BBC Science Focus magazine, there are 2 paths humanity could walk down. First off, it's unlikely that a natural virus could wipe us all out. Viruses need their hosts to survive so that they can spread. We might lose many people, but it wouldn't end the world. However, a synthetic virus released into the population could quickly devastate the human race. On the other hand, resistance to antibiotics could send us back to the Dark Ages.
I was just finna say, you know how y'all was acting when it came to them vaccines and stuff for COVID, or y'all not want to take vaccines and all of this, and all the conspiracy theories about that, and also the conspiracy theories that COVID was like manufactured by the government. Ooh.
Before penicillin was discovered in 1928, minor infections meant certain death. As we rely more and more on antibiotics today, superbugs could emerge that are immune to even our strongest medicines. If you enjoyed this video
I hate
and want
to
to see
see
another
that.
just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now.
Or hate to be around when that happens. Hey, great video. 10 cataclysms that ended humanity. Shout out Underworld. I love learning about the world. I love watching videos like these, bro, because you never know. How will the world end? How will humanity end? And this not even talk about human reasons like nukes and stuff like that. This is just natural disaster things that is out of our control, bro. It's scary. I'm out.